Hey guys, so today we are gonna talk about the Grohk. Now you can play him as a damage or a healer. He's not really best at anything, but you can make him work in certain situations. Like imagine you have a heavy flank pressure on your damage carries. Then you can pick him to keep them safe. Or if the other team picked the Ying and the Barrick together as a death pull combo, you can annoy the hell out of them with a Maelstrom legendary. The loadout with this card used to be very good, but they nerfed it by reworking a card called Thunderstruck. Before it used to reduce the cooldown of the shock pulse, and now it's just completely useless. But even without that card, it's still effective. Now let's talk about the cards that I am using in my healing build. As you can see, we have Outreach at level 1, then Phantom at level 1 and Monolith Totem at level 2, just so it can survive a bit longer. At last, we have Gale at level 4 and Haunting at level 4. Now these two cards are the core of this loadout, and let me explain why. Now the huge drawback of Grohk is that the totem he places can be destroyed very easily, and you can increase the health of it or place it in cover, but most of the time you won't be able to in a public match. Now with this loadout, you can spam it as many times as you like, and this is how it works. You just have to buy a level 1 Chronos. You're gonna place your totem down by pressing Q on the PC, and it's gonna expire after 6 seconds. Then use your Ghost Walk by pressing F. Now this will reduce the cooldown of your totem by 4 seconds, and you'll be able to use it again. Just keep on repeating this step and you'll have it most of the time when you need it. As you can see in the video, it works perfectly. Now the problem is this loadout requires a lot of teamwork, which you're never gonna see in a public match. And with this, my friends, our healing loadout becomes completely useless. But if your team is ready to work with you, then you can heal them for a ton of health, because the totem heals for 420 health every second, and we are gonna increase it by 50% with the legendary card Totemic Ward. And it also immunes your teammates from crowd control abilities for 2 seconds, meaning no more hugs from the Bomb King, no more fear from the snake, and you are welcomed at Inara's home anytime. Most of the stuns that you're gonna get in this game are of 2 seconds, and the Totemic Ward will keep you immune from any CC for exactly 2 seconds. Now you all must be thinking, if Grohk is so good, then why don't we see him more in the game? And the reason for that is very simple. Imagine you are in a 1v1 duel and you need heals. It's a piece of cake for a Ceres or Maldamba. It just takes a simple right click and your health is back to full, no matter how far you are from them. But if you are a Grohk, then you will have to walk up to that person before he dies and place a totem right next to him, which he may not even notice, and run away from it. While you're doing that, your whole team might be dead because you wasted all your heals on a single person that just ran away without getting healed. As you can see in the video, it happened many times during this match. So at last I begged them to stay near me so I can heal them, as I was the only healer on the team. And I don't know how, but they listened to me. A rare sight of teamwork in a public match. Now by staying near, I did not mean walk right next to each other, because if you do that, a Bomb King or a Drogos will rip your whole team apart in seconds. Keep the space and a defensive position so that you can easily get to your healer when you need it. Now let's talk about how should we play him as a healer. It all comes down on how you place your totems. I am not that great with my placements, but you should always try to hide it into a corner where no one can destroy it easily. You can even body block it if you have no cover in your side. The good thing about Grohk is you can dish out a lot of damage while healing your teammates, and he's really hard to kill because of his Ghost Walk. So he's a kind of a semi-tank in the backline, which is a great distraction for a flanker who is trying to kill your damage carries. But the thing is, it's really hard to be a solo healer with a Grohk. Of course you can do it, but as you already know, it requires a lot of teamwork. Because if you place the totem near the point for your tanks, your damage carries will die. And if you place a totem in the back lines, then your tank will die. So don't pick him as a solo healer unless you are in a 5-player party and you have a specific strat in your mind. Anyway, coming to his attacks, you have a lightning staff which deals 75 damage per hit every 0.2 second, and it's pretty good actually. But the thing is, not to go crazy on the left click, as you don't want to overheat in the middle of fight because it will get you killed. And the second attack that you have is called a shock pulse, which is quite shocking. I duly apologize for this bad joke. Moving on, it can be used by pressing right click on your mouse. It will launch a small projectile. If hit, will bounce between enemies, slowing them down by 30% for 5 minutes. It's only 2 seconds. While doing 125 damage per hit. Now with this loadout, it's not gonna matter that much, but if you're going for the Maelstrom card, then it's really effective. And this can be used on the enemies to dismount them when they're rushing the point, or just to apply the pressure on them, as 30% slow will make them an easy target for your damage carries. Try to use it on the grouped up enemies to get the full value out of it. Now you can even flank with him in the early rounds when the cauterize is not that effective. Like take a damage carry with you and take out their healer first, then the rest of them, as you will be able to outlive them with your totem, if you're smart with it. It's a really good tactic if you're with a friend who is in your party. But don't do it twice in a row, as they will be ready for you the next time. And also don't do it if you are a solo healer in your team for obvious reasons. Now let's talk about his ultimate, which can change the tide of any battle in a blink of an eye. I'm just kidding, it's completely useless. Complete garbage. Even if you don't use it, you will be fine. But in the latest patch, they did made it a bit better. So what it does is that you will damage 2 of your enemies for 200 HP while slowing them down, and heal 2 of your teammates and yourself for 500 HP every 0.5 seconds. This will last for 3 seconds. Before this patch, it only used to heal your teammates, but now it heals you too. Which is great because Grohk was immediately killed whenever he tried to use his ultimate. Now how to use it? First thing is, don't use it to do damage. You should always use it when you have your team with you, because you're healing more than you're doing damage in this ultimate. But still there are better options than him if you want to heal your teammates, like Ceres, Maldamba or even Ying. He's just not really effective as a healer in a public match, as I have already stated why. But you can still play him for fun, and he's quite good if you know what you're doing. With this, I would like to take my leave and see you all in the next one. Lastly, please don't rage in the game, as it doesn't really help anyone, and if you see a bad player, just give him advice. Maybe he's really good in some other game and just lacks experience in this game. Keep our community happy and healthy. Okay, this time I'm really going. Bye.